Before heading out, Alani and Sherry attempt to make as many phone calls as possible to the outside world. They call neighboring city halls, fire departments, police stations, news channels, anything they can think of. With the internet losing connection with every email attempt, they feel hopeful in having been able to find the phone numbers. They would have stayed feeling hopeful if any other calls connected. They live on an island that's been built to be pretty self-sustaining. In recent years, it's been on the uncommon side for them to have materials brought in from the outside, a few days out of the year on a need-to-need basis. City Hall's plan is that in only a few decades, they could completely cut out the outside world if they wanted to. There is genuinely a chance no one has any idea what's going on the island right now, and probably won't for months. With that, and the slime monster from the night before sloshing around in their thoughts, they drive onto the bridge and into the deep, unnerving fog. Almost instantly, Sherry's car radio cuts to static as the fog envelops them. The light from the town gets eaten up, and while it's not pitch black, a different type of darkness dances around them. The light of the sun does not seem to penetrate, and they can't even see the street lights that line the bridge. They just seem to be surrounded by a faint glow and the light of Sherry's headlights. The fog seems almost alive, pulsating and rippling around them as though moving out of the way, but keeping them surrounded. Alani remembers old stories having fog like this. Gods like to hide magical things away in fogs like this. Sometimes they use this kind of fog to spirit people away. She wonders if the gods, new and old, are watching. She wonders when was the last time she had prayed, if she should be praying now. She has always been partial to the old gods because of her grandfather's stories about them. So quietly, as not to disturb Sherry from her driving, Alani clasped her hands and gave a silent prayer that they'd be led on the right path to fix whatever has ruled their town. When she looks up and opens her eyes, the lights to the only home she has ever known come back to life in the fog. On the way back in, past the Welcome To sign, they notice Thanksgiving decorations. Alani thinks about the story her grandfather told her of the holiday. One of the old gods, she doesn't remember which one it was anymore, lived in a deep, untouched forest. One day, the folk creatures ran to the old god crying about a new creature destroying the forest. The first of the new gods had made this thing called human, and it had yet to learn the ways of the world. The old god approached the human and scolded it for its treatment of the land. It cried that it didn't know what else to do. It was scared for the nights were getting colder, and the food was less each day, and its god was off learning from the other old gods. This old god felt pity for it, was more like a lost babe in the woods, and decided to take the human under their protection and teach it how to survive in the world by surviving with the world. Decades later, long after more humans had been made, the first human, old and dying, gathered its family and threw a feast in honor of that old god. This was the first Thanksgiving. It is days later when Alani and Sherry find themselves standing outside Sherry's house, watching the Thanksgiving Day parade go down Main Street. But performing in the parade are not the usual locals. This year, it is gaudy floats, ethereal marches, a ghost band, and giant balloons translucent like spirits, all making their way down the street like should happen every year. Alani's grandfather once told her every holiday has a spirit and is alive in its own way. She never knew he meant it literally. That's when the unfortunate happens. That vile void of a creature makes its move and lunges from the dark of an alleyway, attacking the parade. For a moment, the people lining the streets stand, not registering the parade has been interrupted. But when one of them snaps back too and panics, the crowd screams, fleeing in all directions. The marchers and band members stand their ground, charging and swinging their instruments and batons at the beast, only to be sent flying and, when they crash into the ground, shattering into a shimmer of dust. The floats come speeding in to their aid, only to be flipped and crushed under one another. The giant parade balloons are the next to die fighting. Being balloons, the strings snap, they float up into the air, and then burst, releasing a shimmering mist of dust. Something not too dissimilar to fading stars dripping from the night sky. The slime monster absorbs the dust and disappears back into the alleyway. All the Thanksgiving decor fades. It is still Halloween,